Welcome to the Love is Always the Way story for August 2022. And Leos, hear you roar. Leo season is on my mind right now because I hear and feel the Leo energy within all of us and around us, which feels strong AF right now. Ready to shine and help us do more of the work. Pretty much light us up. Things feel like they come online in August after an emotional, watery July, also known as crab season. And I say this with great reverence, love, and appreciation as I myself am a Cancer rising. So I love the water energy, but we all need balance. I always feel like the sun comes out loud and proud during Leo season. Things are often bigger, bolder, brighter, and dare we say a little more outspoken, or a lot in the typical show-offy Leo way. First, let me kick off this month with an update on the status of the Love is Always the Way Oracle cards and guidebook. We have finally, with caps, an underscore, and an exclamation point, finished all of the editing of the book and final revisions. Woohoo! We are making some formatting changes that the printer needs to run the sample and has requested. So that will be the next step. And from there, with final approval, we will go into full print production. As I have said many times over the last few months, the learning curve on this last leg has been steeper than anticipated in the midst of some major and unexpected personal issues for both myself and my graphic designer. But the sun, thank you Leo season, is finally coming out, and we are starting to see the forest from the trees after a very long and winding road, plus a slow volley back and forth over this year. But we have been committed and plotted away and have gotten everything done. Having an exceptional final product and everything just right is important to me. I am self-publishing, so everything has to be just perfect in my typical Virgo style. I can't wait to come back at you soon with some more confirmations. And in the meantime, I once again thank you so much for your patience. I was so curious. My fingers were itching to get this story party started this month, and excited to see what card was going to take the lead for August. It's kind of like being a kid in the Oracle card candy store. This is an interesting month, and the cards weave together in a more complex way than they have previously. So I had to really sit with the meanings and make the right connections with focus and contemplation. But I'm feeling like I have pulled it together. So, drum roll, please. Our fabulous Love is Always the Way card leader for this month is Fall in Love. Doesn't that always just sound delicious? As I ran it through my immediate filtration system to see if I could get a hit on where this card was meant to take us, I felt pretty quickly that it is all about self-love and falling in love with ourselves first and foremost. That is not to say that the message for some of you isn't about falling in love with somebody else or something else this month, or that the messages may not layer when they do, but the pull for me immediately was to self-love. I think this is an interesting development after we've been asked to slow down, to listen, and to heal over the last few months. As we go through this reading, I think that you will find that as we have slowed down and cleared some things and space up, more is coming to the surface to further heal. So then we can melt into that higher vibration of love and embody the best and highest versions of ourselves. Having done the work, we can actually start to step up and into a greater sense of abundance and flow. And I don't know about you, but that feels pretty damn good. I kind of go where the spirit moves me based on the first card. So I was drawn to the section of my card collection that focuses on love. But again, not romantic love. So I doubled down in a Louise Hay sort of way. The first deck I pulled from was the Life Loves You cards. And the card that came out says on the front, I am willing to forgive. And on the back, Forgiveness is a gift to yourself. It allows you to release the past. Go to your mirror and say, I forgive myself. I forgive everyone. I forgive the past. For me, these validated that the falling in love energy is going to require some forgiveness, and there is a strong element and pull to the self at the moment. Perhaps you need to forgive yourself or others, but either way, there is only good power and lightness of being from those actions and the subsequent space that follows. Not to mention the freedom to open up to what is next in your life. One of the cards in the Love is Always the Way Oracle deck is Forgive with Love, and I want to read you the description from that card. As within, so without. To forgive with love isn't about them. It's about you, and you have given yourself an amazing gift so that you can truly embody love. True and authentic forgiveness is about absolute peace and is good for the soul. It is the ultimate act of compassion for both you and for them. Release their journey to the divine and trust the divine with yours. You do you. When you forgive, you heal and learn that love is the medicine that is always needed in any situation. Bless and release, rinse and repeat. Is an olive branch what is next on the agenda? It's okay to love from afar if that is what your situation calls for. Do the work regardless of how and where the chips ultimately fall, because everything is an inside job. Fly like a dove and sprinkle love on that journey at hand. This is the blessed path. Love is always the way. Forgiveness can be challenging, but the worth it factor is high and it will get you everywhere you want to go. Because I was feeling the self-love energy, I went to the How to Love Yourself card deck by Louise Hay, and the card that came out was, I am surrounded by infinite wisdom, with a further message on the back that says, I am one with the very power that created me. This power loves all its creations, including me. I just want to say here, for whatever reason this is coming up, that you are worthy of forgiveness. And within that release is so much infinite wisdom. We so often hold on to things that are not meant for us or are no longer working for us with such fear. True freedom is on the other side of letting go of that which is holding you back, including forgiving yourself or others. This makes me think of this very simple analogy of holding on to something so tightly in your hand that it is not open and available to receive what's new and meant to come up. Just try it. Put your hand into a fist formation and look at it and understand that you cannot receive. When you relax your hand, release and open up, then new things can come in. Not to be too overly cliche, but what's meant for you will stay, even when you have the faith and the strength to open that hand up fully. Surrendering and releasing within, ready to accept whatever is next, no matter what it looks like. That's faith, right? It's time to release whatever blocks are in your way, with an emphasis on forgiveness this month, to tap into greater infinite wisdom. Louise and I are clearly tracking because on some of these big love and energy concepts, we definitely cross-pollinate. I have a card in my deck which is called Love is Infinite Wisdom. This is the card description. Everything is energy, and all answers abide in the infinite wisdom of love. Love goes a long way. One drop of love ripples out into the world, the universe, and beyond. The wisdom of the universe and its love is available to you in return, and you are capturing it and using it like the super love star that you are. Tap into the deep source of ancient wisdom, your guides, and all that came before you. Everything that you need is there. To whom much is given, much is expected. When you are tapped into the knowing that love is an infinite source, you bring forth the ability to do everything with love while you seek to understand with love. That magic combination is everything you need to tune into, know, and feel that love knows the way. Keep trusting. The reflection is clear, pure, and in alignment with all of your highest version of soul, embodiment, and greatest good. Ripple on with your bad self. Love is always the way. The energy of this card also came up last month, so you can check the previous post I put up. But I love that there's continuity of messaging and that we are being reminded that all of these steps that we are being guided to take are keeping us truly plugged into the vibration of love and all of its infinite wisdom. From there, I went to the Love Pack by Chuck Spezzano. Thanks to Made for Love, I found this deck and I love it. It layers more detail, complexity, and some psychology into working with oracle cards. Chuck has his PhD in psychology, so these cards offer more specificity and explanation about the role that love plays in our lives, both in the light and in the dark. The only way through and to progress our souls into higher dimension and light is to confront, understand, and sit with the dark side. His cards are color-coded, and for the 2 cards that came out for this reading, both were in the purple zone, which is the problem zone. So we most def have some work to do, but I always look at it as more data to use as a tool that's helpful and is also the key to shining the light into the dark corners so that we can identify the issues at hand and heal them. I also connect the purple to the third eye, which is inner knowing. So therefore, the more we know and see, the more we can do to address our woundedness. As I have said before, I never intend to pull 2 cards from one particular deck in the storyline, but if 2 insist, I roll with it and trust that it's meant to be. The first card was number 81, Never Enough. Time back into forgiveness. He thinks we need to work on forgiving ourselves for the perception of feeling like we are never enough. We are always enough. We are born into this world perfectly imperfect, and we need to start operating from a space of coming in whole. If you are feeling like you're not enough for yourself or anyone else, then something needs to be released or healed. Take a deep breath right now and say to yourself, I am always enough. I am always enough. Doesn't that feel good and just so relieving? That makes a great ongoing mantra, actually. Rinse and repeat as necessary. Feeling like enough and forgiving makes me feel grace, which in other words is like love, love, love. Chuck talks about the never enough attitude being insatiable and how it drives people away. I would like to add it can also drive us farther from the center of ourselves and the universe, where we derive all of our groundedness and connection to source. He says the way to work with this card is to take it as a chance to identify and correct something that has had a destructive effect on your relationships. Read, forgive yourself and heal that shit, right? Here we get the tie-in when he says, begin by forgiving yourself and anyone around you who may be acting the scenario out. Use communication to share and heal layer by layer. I love that. Layer by layer. Sometimes it's just one small step at a time, but everything in this process of release and forgiveness matters. The next card that came out was Feeling Unwanted. Doesn't that kind of just feel like it clicks right into the never enough as the energies go hand in hand? We so often feel like we're never enough because we feel unwanted, which is the perception of feeling unloved. This all creates an alienating effect. Look at the woman in the front of this card. She's apart and feeling disconnected. And I'm guessing feels like everyone has everything that she wants but doesn't have. Chuck talks a bit about our formative years and how that can affect our sense of feeling unwanted. So with that said, maybe it's our parents or those who have looked over and raised us that need to be forgiven so that we can fully take responsibility for our own lives and be free from the pain that is holding us back and down. Chuck says, when we bring understanding to past events, we can know ourselves as lovable and irresistible. How amazing does that sound? Lovable and irresistible. Sign me up, you and everybody else we know, because the love train is about to leave the station and we don't want to miss a hot minute of the good juju that is coming down the line. Before I move on from these two cards, I want to point out, as we know, they both fall within the purple problem color code. And a problem is always something that needs to be resolved. So trust that there is a solution, which may be forgiveness at this moment. And note that the background in both of these cards includes a lot of blue, which connects to the throat chakra, the seat of communication, both speaking your truth and listening to the messages coming in. So tune in both ways. It could be to you or with others, but it also might be just to your intuition, which will never let you down. I next went to my Love Story Oracle cards by Deja Druitt, which I love for both their simplicity, design, and depth. I also felt a little extra drawn to these cards after the last two because she has a beautiful purple border on these cards. So again, third eye and connecting into infinite wisdom is key at the moment. Once again, two cards came flying out. The first card was respect. Can I get a goddess bless and hallelujah? RESPECT. Forgive yourself and others and respect yourself and others. See how the beautiful artwork on her card illustrates that connection? Not only for you, but for others in the process. She also so beautifully examples how we look and connect at light and dark. How we connect this sometimes challenging 3D existence to the greater galactic one of infinite wisdom. All while doing it with love, reverence, and respect for every part of the process. Deja talks about how relationships need mutual respect, and because we are on the fall in love train this month, that also feels like mutual respect within all of the light and dark parts of ourselves. The parts that truly deserve forgiveness and grace. She reminds us that it is important to have self-respect and self-worth. Word. So many of these pieces are the key to enlightenment and the ascension of self. And I feel that this is illustrated once again by the purple that is above the connection of the two hands. The next card is Daydream, card number 11, which is my favorite number. My initial hit on this edition is that more is always possible. So much starts with a daydream. We create at a higher level to bring something in to the 3D existence. It's the birthplace of manifestation. I think in our context this month, daydreaming also allows us to go bigger within ourselves, to know that more is infinitely possible. And that may start with more self-love, forgiveness, letting go, and healing as a starting point to fire up the process and get the wheels turning. To me, the space above her head is, of course, galactic, but also so expansive in nature, reminding us that infinite possibilities tie into infinite wisdom. After the messages thus far, I was definitely yearning to get in with some good goddess juju. So I went to the Love Your Inner Goddess cards by Alana Fairchild. The card that came up was Psyche. Without even reading the description, I feel that we are once again reminded that this month is kind of mental. But look at the card and the beautiful butterflies. It reminds us that the work we are embarking on through this process is transformative. With so much red and yellow tying into the root chakra and the solar plexus, we will be further grounded down into our true sense of self. Her card description is so beautiful and poignant that I wanted to read all of it to you. You are going to find the exact help that you need at the exact times that you need it. You have the ability to attract resources and even to create something out of apparently nothing. Don't put your focus or your faith in the material world and its seemingly endless obstacles and difficulties. Direct your attention and your trust towards our all-powerful and unconditionally loving universe, which is your friend and your teacher. When you do this, you empower the universe to help you, and it really wants to in the most amazing ways. Side note here, help yourself so that all of your spirit guides, angels, transition loved ones can actually help you more. Say please and louder. Okay, so she goes on to say, Psyche, goddess of the soul, accomplished the most seemingly impossible tasks as a human being before she became a goddess. She reminds us that our human courage, intelligence, and willingness to go through the unknown and face our fears, even when the obstacles may seem insurmountable, is enough to succeed. She teaches us how to know when we must do something for ourselves and when we need to allow others, with their different knowledge and skills, to help us. She urges us to not be afraid of being vulnerable. She teaches that feeling weak at times doesn't mean we have no strength to succeed. We just need to be honest about how we feel, whilst we choose to keep going and believe that somehow everything will work out. That is called having faith. Psyche knows that, just like the emerging butterfly, the biggest challenges in our lives are actually helping us to become what we were always destined to be. Sometimes we need a little push from the universe to do what we need to do to fulfill our divine potential. It's safe to trust what is happening in your life, even when the way ahead intimidates you. Refuse to get up when things get difficult. Remember, goddess in training, love will always find a way. Couldn't have said it better myself. The Daily Crystal Inspiration Deck by Heather Askinosie was calling my name, which could be honestly because it is just so pretty to look at. And guess what? Here we are. 2 cards wanted to be seen and heard this month. We have Lemurian Crystal with the message, practice patience, and Appetite with get out of your comfort zone. None of this work that we're doing right now is for the faint of heart, so to speak. But as Alana says, we need to have faith, and the Lemurian Quartz reminds us to practice patience in the process. Sometimes forgiveness and loving ourselves doesn't come easy, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. It is always worth it. And as the Appetite Crystal reminds us, we might have to get out of our comfort zone to get there, to do things differently. Heather's message around Lemurian Quartz says, slow down and get quiet, which sounds a lot like our messages from June and July, letting us know that those 2 components are still important and still in play right now. With the Appetite, she tells us to burst out of our bubble, to get out of our self-created, and really so often our self-limiting, boundaries. It's in taking these steps out, on, in faith that we're connected with everything that our soul is craving and the direction our soul is meant to go. Now is the time. One thing that may help with your focus and unfolding this month is to go and find a Lemurian quartz and apatite crystal. They will help with setting and holding intention. Crystals are powerful messengers and vessels. Finally, last but definitely not least, I decided to end this reading with the Heart and Soul deck by Tony Carmine Salerno. Once again, 2 cards. This might be the time to interject that the number 2 in numerology is the number of peace, harmony, balance, cooperation, and of course, love. So all of this work is meant to get us to a greater connection point, not only with ourselves, but with others, all in the vibration of love. I love the colors in these cards and how this first one shows a representation of the chakras with blue on the sides, once again tying into our theme of communication. The message says, I am one with the universe, one with the eternal goddess. She is a part of me. I tune into my heart and she is there, surrounded by an infinite library of wisdom, knowledge, and love. The countless manifestations of the goddess, along with her great compassion, are expressed through me. Take that in for a second. Do you see how all of these cards and messages connect and weave together what we're meant to hear and know right now? The goddess energy is coming up again, which connects me back into the divine feminine, which is still in the process of coming back into a space of being revered and respected, while the divine masculine clears up so much of the patriarchal and controlling yuck that has not been serving us for so long. There is both divine feminine and divine masculine within us individually and also without. Also, here we go again with infinite wisdom. It is the key right now. Everything we want and need to know is within us and communicates to us through our intuition when we slow down and listen. Have compassion for yourself and others as you walk through this journey of healing and forgiveness. The universe and the goddess energy have got you. The artwork on the last card has that feel of infinite energy as well, with the yellow on the left, actually the divine feminine side, representing the solar plexus and our true sense of self and empowerment. Then with the divine masculine on the right, represented by red and the root chakra, which is grounding down into balance. Both with green, representing the heart chakra at the base of it all. The message on this card says, it's time to reflect on what really matters. Ultimately, this is peace, love, and happiness, and you can only find these things within yourself. When there is peace and love in your heart, there will be peace and love in the world, for all of your experiences are simply your own reflection. How beautifully does this card bring our message for the month full circle? Fall in love with yourself, because everything you need is within you. And I can't wait to see how things unfold and develop for you in the month of August. So let's sum it all up. Fall, baby, fall. You'll catch you when you fall. In love. Forgiveness is where it's at. Take the time to invest in deeper understanding and start your journey on the path to healing and living your best life in faith. Love is infinite wisdom, and you've got it within you. It wants to tell you everything you need to know, so tune in. You are enough, and you are wanted always. You are on and in divine time. Respect is key. Daydreaming is necessary. Patience is required. And it's time to bust a move out of the old comfort zone to change your life and shift the paradigm. Have faith. Tune in. continue to get quiet and listen. It's good practice. You are about to become even more of what you are meant to be. Connect with your inner goddess, plus your divine feminine and your divine masculine. Love and forgive both sides of the energetic polarity coin, both within yourself and within others. Buy some crystals, have fun with them, and watch them work their magic sauce. Finally, always remember that love is always the way. I will list the cards used in this story reading in the description below. I would love to hear more, so please post your thoughts in the comment section and let's keep the conversation going. I would love a like or a share. And just know that I am sending you so much love for the month of August and hoping it's a month filled with forgiveness, release, movement, healing, and falling in love with yourself over and over. As Glennon Doyle always says, we can do hard things. So even if it feels hard, just do it.